Hare Krishna, good evening. Nice to see you all. Mostly are my old familiar faces. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari, 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 Yashodanandana Adadana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Adadana Ranjana, Ranjana, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari, Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari, Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana, Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tera Vanachari, Tera Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe, Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe, Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Oh, Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa. Rabbi Jakasharya Stutara Shashishimat. His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gītā Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gaura. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gītā, chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, and today's text number 16, right? Everybody agrees? It's a nice verse, so hold on. Chatur Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, text, chapter 7, text 16. Chaturvidha bhajanti mam. Many of you know this verse by heart, no? Jana sukritino junam. Sukritino junam. Drito jigyasur artharti. Jigyasur artharti. Gyani cha bharatarshaba. We not go word for word, we don't need, huh? We go for, okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. 4 types: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. See if you can fit in one of these 4 categories. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Unlike the miscreants, these are adherents of the regulative principles of the scriptures, and they are called Sukritina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures, the moral or social laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of this, there are 4 classes of men who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after knowledge of the Absolute. Again, the 4 types. See where we fit. These persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 defines pure devotion thus: Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyana vritam anukulyanna krishnanu shilanam bhaktirutama. Forgot to press. Translation: one should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit, gains through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. I read it again. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. When these four kinds of persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by the association of a pure devotee, they also become pure devotees. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with a pure devotee, also become pure devotees. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in material distress, and at that time associate with pure devotees and become, in their distress, devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to associate with pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God, and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service and thus transcend knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma and come to the personal conception of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all material desires, and when they fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, they become pure devotees. As long as such a purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with fruitive activities, the search for mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one can come to the stage of pure devotional service. Translation again. O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in a verse, Krishna is saying that these four types of pious persons, they render devotional service unto him. So we may think, oh, if I have material desires, I can approach the Lord to satisfy my material desires. Yes, you can, and you should. If you have material desires, don't go elsewhere, approach Krishna to satisfy your material desires. Why? Because no matter who you are going to worship, it's always Krishna who gives the results, right? Everything comes from him. The demigods just work us on behalf of Krishna to satisfy our desires. So no need to worship demigods, which is to worship Krishna. If we have desire for liberation, also you don't need to perform all these crazy austerities and be so renounced. You just worship Krishna. And if you have no desire at all, anyone here, no desire at all, then you can still worship Krishna, right? So there's always a great benefit in worshiping Krishna, and this is very wonderful. So we should be encouraged by this. In any situation, you feel distressed or the business is not running well, worship Krishna. Even if the intent is material, you get some benefit. But don't forget to come to the temple and see Krishna. Because if you are only worshipping Krishna for material purpose, then you achieve the material purpose and no more than that. But if you come to the temple, you may associate to devotees, and then you start understanding that is more than just satisfying your material desire. There is some higher benefit. So yes, Srila Prabhupada very clearly explains, they can come to Krishna, they can approach Krishna, and Krishna says they begin worshipping me in devotional service, but their devotional service is not yet pure. And Srila Prabhupada, in order to substantiate his claim, he quotes this very important verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, written by Srila Rupa Goswami under the guidance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a very important verse in the whole book. By the way, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is even bigger, longer than Srimad Bhagavatam. It's more verses, very, very big work. It's all instructions given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Rupa Goswami. He gave some instructions in gist, in summary, and he told Rupa Goswami to elaborate on each topic, going through all the revealed scriptures and excavate all these different verses that explain those particular points about devotional service. So it was really an incredible work. And this verse, right in the beginning of his book, serves as the definition of what is pure devotion service. And it's very important to know the difference between pure devotional service and not so pure devotional service or mixed devotional service. There is a huge difference. Because as we said, yes, if we have material desires, we can worship Krishna, and Krishna is the one who will satisfy our material desires. If you have desires for liberation, he is also the one who satisfies those desires. So he is always the one who is going to satisfy our desires no matter what. But we will have those material desires satisfied and bas. We may even stop worshipping him. We will never attain loving devotion for him, because the goal of our service will not be to attain pure devotional service, will be to just attain some material benefit. So it's motivated. So in this verse, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. Here he speaks about bhakti uttama, the topmost bhakti. Bhakti that confers the highest form of love, prema bhakti, which is considered the highest attainment in human life, is the highest attainment. Nothing higher than that. Other arthas are there, money, material benefits are there, but the highest, prema pumartumaham, the highest attainment is pure devotion for Krishna, pure love. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is indicating. We have to go beyond this worshipping or practicing devotional service for some other ulterior purpose than achieving pure devotional service. Because then we will fail. We worshipping is like worshipping a very wealthy person, the most wealthy person here in Hong Kong, approaching him. Who is the most rich person here? Is an Indian person? No. Before it used to be Indian people, the most wealthy in Hong Kong. If you approach a very wealthy person here you have the chance of approaching a very wealthy person here in Hong Kong, because you need to have a chance to approach them, possibility. But if you succeed and you ask him to borrow you 1,000 Hong Kong dollars, it sounds really stupid, right? You had the opportunity. It's so difficult to meet such a wealthy person, and you ask just for, trinkets, nothing, just, a guy can give you millions if he's pleased with you, but you just ask for $100 or $1,000. So this is what we do when we approach Krishna for material benefits. Material benefits are temporary. Okay, you may be satisfied for some time. Maybe our material needs are subsided. Maybe our distress is gone, but we're still here, stuck in material existence, right? We don't go anywhere. So, but if Krishna can give us more than that, why not going to Krishna for something higher? So this is very important for us to meditate upon, because we all need something, right? We are all in need of something. And we can certainly approach Krishna to satisfy those needs. But material needs are just material needs. They eventually fade away as the body fades away. And our bodies are fading away, right? So the needs connected with this body will also disappear with the body. So they're not really our needs, are just the needs of our bodies. But so far we have understood, or we are supposed to have understood, that we are not these bodies, we are spiritual souls. So we have higher needs, devotional needs, spiritual needs. So yes, so to approach Krishna without the motives, not anukulyena, not favorably for the pleasure of Krishna, is not a very successful approach, because we approach the topmost person just to get something is irrelevant, is temporary. So approach Krishna, yes. Like this, four types of pious people are approaching Krishna. They are in distress, they desire wealth, they are inquisitive, and some are even in searching of knowledge of the Absolute. So they have some wants, they have some needs, personal needs. That's why they come in contact with Krishna. And maybe many of us, we came and we are still coming to see the Lord for this type of material benefits. It's okay. But if you understand at least that if we associate with devotees and we take the process of pure devotional service, you can obtain much higher benefits, then why not try at least for that? So many of you have been coming for many years, and many of you are doing very well in terms of accepting Krishna as the Supreme Person, try to, offer some devotional service, and I believe you do. But you can improve, and any one of us can improve in our devotion to the Lord by checking what are our motives. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the approach of Krishna, in devotional service should be without desires. Shigonitai ki jaya nama Vishnu Paramahansa. Should be without material desires. Well, that's the meaning of the word abhilasha. Anyabhilasha means without material desires. But gosh, if you're going to have to approach Krishna without any material desires, who can do? We all have some material desires, right? So he kind of makes a precision what kind of material desire should not be there in our hearts when we approach Krishna. And he adds the suffix ta, say anya bilashita. That means it's just not material desires that come, pop in and go away. Sometimes we don't even respond to them. We don't even try to satisfy them, and they disappear. And just as they come, they go away. Some material desires are not consequential, does not really affect us very much, and does not affect our practice of pure devotion either. But Anyabhilashita refers to motives, means those deep-rooted desires that we carry in our hearts, that we want somehow or other to fulfill. That's what we have to be careful about. This is what we have to be very careful about, because motives, they really become almost part of ourselves, something that we hanker very strongly to satisfy. So that should be totally eliminated from our hearts if we want to really practice pure devotional service. And the beauty of pure devotional service is that brings us to the lotus feet of Krishna. No more material desires, no more material existence, no more hanker for freedom, from liberation, nothing of that. Everything is settled, everything is satisfied at the same time by attaining Krishna's lotus feet, by attaining his pure love. So many people, many of us, we approach Krishna maybe with these desires in the beginning, but then by the grace of the devotees, by the mercy of the devotees, we start learning more about the process of devotional service. And then we start becoming more committed because we could see that the benefit was much higher. So that's why Srila Prabhupada said, yes, we can approach with these motives, with these material motives in the beginning, but by chance, if you associate with devotees, and here we have so many opportunities, right? It's a small temple, this temple, but it's very vibrant, very dynamic. It's one of the most dynamic temples in this part of the world, I tell you. And it's so small, so small. Every day there's something going on here, some devotional activities going on here. So it's a nice place to come regularly. Before you engage in your daily activities, you can always come, at least say good morning to Gaunitai before you go and do your daily duties, Say a few prayers, so do something and then go work. It's on the way. Most of you live nearby, right? You work nearby. From the very beginning, we thought about you because you were the best friends, So we thought about you. That's why we established this project here, right in the core of the India congregation. So it's for you. It's an opportunity. Some even live in this building. So they just can take the elevator and come down here, see, every morning before taking breakfast. Can you do that? Okay, no. Okay, before going to work at least. When you're ready, dressed to go to office, now you can come here and say good morning to Gaunitai. It's very nice. Yeah, so in contact with the Lord, or in contact with His devotees, then we start develop a desire, hankering to know more about the Lord and eventually, know about the process of pure devotional service. In association with devotees, Srila Prabhupada wrote many books, and everything that we read in Srila Prabhupada's books is about this pure devotional service to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada is very clear to rule out any other form of approach of the Lord for any other benefit than satisfying the Supreme Lord. So that's the first thing. Bhakti Ruttama is an activity. Shilanam is an activity. If you want to attain pure love for Krishna, means we're going to have to be active. Like we are active in this world to achieve anything. So the same, to attain love for Krishna, we have to engage in some activity. Love is not just a beautiful thinking, a beautiful thought, oh, I love you too. No, it's something that we have to manifest through our actions. We act with our senses, we act with our thoughts, with our tongues. So engage all this in the service of the Lord. Not just whimsically by Anushilanam, by following the previous teachers, who have chalked out the process as it is according to the scriptures, and they have themselves given a good example how to follow. So we follow them. We follow the acharyas, because acharyas not only teach the absolute truth, the real knowledge, but they also follow it very nicely. So we can follow in their example. We have Srila Prabhupada is an example for all of us. Yeah? And he came from India also, but he went to the West to give Krishna consciousness to everyone, to awaken everyone to love of God. So Shilanam is an activity. It's not just an idea. And it should be done with a favorable intent to please Krishna. It has to be really with the intent to please Krishna, not just incidental please Krishna. Because incidentally, even demons can please Krishna, right? We hear when Krishna fights with Kamsa, he was very pleased to have a good fight. And Mustika and Chanura, the two wrestlers who Kamsa sent to kill Krishna and Balarama, and they were fighting. And Krishna and Balarama, they were very happy to have a fight with them. So these demons, they pleased Krishna, right? Krishna was pleased to fight with them, because he's a boy, right? He have this wrestling, all male have this tendency. It's not so much on women, it's more on the male side. So Krishna feels happy. Even as Nrsingadev, when fighting with Hiranyakashipu, he was very happy to fight with him. It was one of the reasons why he dispatched him to the material world, so he could give him a good fight. So Krishna can be pleased with the actions of the demons in fighting with them. But does not mean the demons are performing pure devotional service. Not at all, right? They want to kill Krishna. They want to finish with Krishna. So, but even though they please Krishna, their service, their attitude is not favorable. They don't want to please Krishna. They just happen to please Krishna. But then we have the other side of Yashoda Mama. Yashoda Mama at one time, remember, in the beginning of the story, because you just spent 1 month glorifying the pastimes of Damodar with his mother. Certainly you heard this. Mother Yashoda, in the beginning, when was giving breastfeeding Krishna with her milk, she saw the milk on the stove was about to overboil, fall out from the stove. So she put Krishna on the side and she ran to attend to that milk on the fire. So she did something that certainly did not please Krishna. And Krishna was actually not just displeased, he was angry. So certainly she failed in pleasing Krishna at that time. Could you say that she failed to perform pure devotional service at that time? No. We will never say that of Mother Yashoda, right? She is a perfect soul. To be in the role of Mother of Krishna, she must be really very pure soul, without any flaws, without any faults. So she was certainly doing that, even though she didn't please Krishna in the moment, she was doing that with a favorable intent. That milk was meant for Krishna, because she thought Krishna can have my breast milk anytime he wants. But he also needs to eat other things, right? Milk preparations particularly. So that milk was for that purpose. So her intent was favorable. So because it was favorable, it was pure devotional service, even though Krishna at that time was not happy, was not satisfied. So Srila Rupa Goswami is a brilliant writer, You cannot find faults in his verses. And this definition is perfect. We cannot confuse pure devotional service by any other activity. It's very, very clear. So it has to be anukulyan, means done with anukula, with a favorable intent. Very, very important. Because sometimes we may do many things, but you don't even think if this is going to please Krishna. Or we think about our own benefit, right? We put some coins and we wait, the bank balance increased 10,000. That's an investment. Investment on a donation box. Is a good investment, nevertheless, is a good investment, but we should not have that mentality. We should come here, okay, I offer you something, it's for your pleasure, please accept. And here, Krishna accepts. Krishna accepts, even if it's a small thing, even if it's a leaf, a flower, Krishna accepts. A cup of water, everything that is available to everyone, Krishna accepts. If our intention is really to please Him, then Krishna accepts. So, anukulyena. So, anyabhilasha we already saw, that all material motives should be zero, should not be there. We should avoid that. Yes, sometimes we may perform devotional service with some material desire, like imagine you are across the street and suddenly there's a car coming and you, Krishna, 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 right? Immediately you think of Krishna. You cannot say that is really pure intent, right? It's more for self-preservation. So we are calling Krishna for our benefit, protect me because I don't want to be crushed. But Srila Rupa Goswami said, no, it's not a disturbance. Does not disturb your practice of pure devotional service because it's a desire just pops in a moment. And it's not something that remains in your heart. So it's not a motive. So this is what we have to be very careful. Motives. Because we all have motives, material motives in our hearts. So you have to see that we don't approach Krishna to satisfy those motives. And then everything is okay. Jnana karmadya navritam should not be covered by jnana or karma or any other pursuits. Karma, fruitive intent, right? Like the distressed, the seeker of wealth. They come to Krishna, but they want their needs to be fulfilled, their distress to be placated, they become more calm, more satisfied, and those who are in need of wealth, they gain some facilities, Or those who are curious, or those who are even in search of knowledge, because can be with a particular motive. Search of knowledge can be for liberation, for instance. We want to be liberated. So it's not good. It's not good because then is a personal want. I approach Krishna because I want liberation. Now, sometimes people argue, then we approach Krishna, we also want prema, right? So we want something, right? It seems like that. I want Krishna prema. But Krishna prema means you are going to work hard to please Krishna. Means if you really have Krishna prema, if you attain Krishna prema, you're going to be always serving Krishna. That's what means pure love. Always serving Krishna, right? So when you ask for prema or love, we are asking for service. We are asking to be always serving for the pleasure of Krishna. So that's pure devotional service. So this is something we may want. We may want. But this want is meant to please Krishna because eventually we're going to engage all our lives. We don't stop until our last breath. We're going to do without holidays, without vacations. Because yes, when we want to please Krishna, then we experience such a great happiness and such a great sense of responsibility, try to do what pleases Him, that we don't stop. And we feel very satisfied by doing that. So it's a very dynamic engagement, it's very nice. In material life, in material pursuits, we tend to work hard for some time and then we need a break. Go someplace, we just have some holidays, relaxed, spend money, don't work hard. But in devotional service, devotional service is already holidays. Every day is a holy day, because every day we are serving Krishna. So it's wonderful. We don't need holidays. We don't need vacations. We're always busy. So this is very nice, because if we are always busy in doing activities to please Krishna, then we will not have time to think about other activities to please our senses. We'll be much more satisfied, because yes, we know senses have needs, and we need to satisfy the senses, and we, even as devotees, we have to do that, but not to the extent of becoming so absorbed in satisfying our senses that we forget the goal of life. So minimize the needs of the senses, and behind that, Krishna always fulfills our material needs, right? Even if you give up material occupations to engage in Krishna's service, still Krishna satisfies our material needs. We have prasada, we have a place to sleep, always something is there, right? Even if you don't ask for. Krishna provides. It's His promise. He provides whatever you lack, and I preserve whatever you have. So Krishna takes care of us. You don't need to worry. So sometimes people think, yeah, if I become a devotee, then what about my family, what about my need? No, everything is fulfilled. It's Krishna who maintains us, right? So if you work for Him, you will never dissatisfy His employees. Yeah? He's the best boss. So work for Him. And that's what Krishna says from the very beginning of Bhagavad Gītā. All work should be done for me. Otherwise, if you don't work for Krishna, you become entangled in material life. And here we are, stuck there, right? So now it's time to start working for Krishna without any material motive. Think about that. And always thinking how I can please Krishna by my service. Very simple. So even material desires are there, okay, eventually they're going to go away, because you become much more satisfied when you please Krishna. Krishna reciprocates in a way that is much, much more wonderful than a reciprocation of our material desires just to satisfy our selfish interests. Okay, we stop here because they told me 7:20 I have to stop. So I stop at 7:20. So if any last comment,
questions? Any questions?
Questions from, you have something to say? Question. Okay, go shoot.
Yeah, just a quick question, Prabhu. You mentioned about associating with devotees. So could you please remind us how to associate with devotees? Because many times when we're in the temple, when we're associating with one another, it's usually prajalpa.
Or rubbing shoulders.
Yes, and even when we're engaging in devotional service, it's usually gramya katha going on. We really don't know how to associate with one another. So could you please...
Yeah, very nice point, yes. Association means doing devotional service together. Means particularly Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing or chanting. So in association of devotees, we should have exchanges related with Krishna or a service to Krishna. Because if we are going to exchange things that we exchange with non-devotees, then there is no much benefit to be with devotees. Devotees should be interested only in discussing topics about Krishna, only discussing about devotional service. So when you approach the devotees, should be to know more about the benefits of engaging in devotional service, or express our doubts, or have questions and ask questions, and or at least come and sit down and have a kirtan together, or prasad, take prasad. But even during prasad, talk about, discuss things about Krishna. Maybe what you heard during the lecture, what do you think about this, about that, or things that you have read during the week, you can discuss. So don't discuss business. You have 7 days, you have 6 days, and how many hours, because you only spend 2 hours a year together, so 6 days and 22 hours to discuss all other things, right? So at least for the 2 hours you spend here with devotees together, let's discuss topics about Krishna now, not so much about health and how his family, how his business. It's not the place to discuss these things. It's not the best place for that. Yeah, association means Shravanam Kirtanam, particularly hearing, talking, glorifying Krishna, because that's the benefit we get from being with devotees, because they are engaged in devotional service, so they can share with us their interests, and you benefit a lot. Yeah. Simple. But you have something more to say about it? Enough?
Probably always, whether it is a material motive or a spiritual motive, then motive will remain always there, whether we are seeking the grace of God, but motive will remain there.
Motive does not need to remain there.
Yeah.
If you know the motive is detrimental, then by approaching Krishna with a favorable intent, with an intent to please him, Krishna himself removes these motives that are in our hearts. Krishna is the one who... Now, of course, yes, we have to do also our homework, right? We also have to do our part. At least notice that this is not good, my dear Lord. I have this motive, and I know it's disturbing my practice of service to you, so please help me to get rid of this. And Krishna will do it, will help you. But you have to be the one who noticed that, right? And show to Krishna that you want. So Krishna will help you. By the practice of devotional service, gradually this goes away. It's not that as immediately as we start practicing, we are pure devotees, right? So you have to go through the process of purifying the heart. Anartha Nivriti has to be there, clearing the misgivings and all these motives we may have in the heart that has to be removed. So this is a process. The process works. If you take it very nicely, it works. Don't worry. The process is good. It's given by the Lord himself, and it works because we have many examples of this. It really works fine. So we just have to have faith and continue doing your practices, and gradually, and be aware of those motives, and don't be shy. You can come to Gītā and say, this is my problem. This is my problem. On my own, I don't know how to deal with this. Please, you just help me. Talk with him. Because he's there. He's there. He can hear you if you talk with him. Some people, they come here, just offer some prayers and say, but you can't talk. We can't talk. Particularly Nityananda Prabhu is very, very kind, very receptive. So talk with him, and present your problems and say, I really want this to get away from my heart, so please help me. And if you have any other problems, you can also come there to present it to him, no problem. He's there for you. He's there for you, for us.
This last question.
Well, the last? Why is the last?
You mentioned the 4 types of people who approach Krishna. So those 4 types.
Can you have the question? Sorry.
Yes. Sorry. So as you mentioned that there are 4 types of people who approach Krishna.
No, Krishna mentions.
Krishna mentions that. But while those 4 types who approach Krishna with those motives, even when they approach, wouldn't it slowly also purify their hearts or souls, and then maybe start off with motive first and then later on devotion?
Yeah, very nice point, yes. If they continue approaching the Lord, even after having those motives satisfied, then yes, they're going to have a good association, and Krishna is going to give them mercy. But what the problem is that they come with those motives, and when these motives are satisfied, thank you, and they go away, right? Because they already got what they wanted. That's the problem, because their motive is not to please the Lord. The motive is to satisfy some ambition, some desire. So that once and it happens all frequently. We come, we have some need, we present, the needs are satisfied. They don't see us anymore because we have satisfied. But if you continue associating, yes, then you are getting the association of the Lord, and by his association, you're going to bring you to the association of these devotees to learn the process of, worshipping him properly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you also clarify being inquisitive about Krishna and getting to know him, the difference?
The difference, yeah. Inquisitive is, the example of inquisitive is Shukadeva Goswami and What is that? Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is Parikshit Maharaj wanted to know the ultimate goal of life. The four Kumaras. The four Kumaras were inquisitive. They went to Vaikuntha. They didn't want to Vaikuntha to learn about the absolute truth. They were already liberated. They wanted to Vaikuntha because they wanted to see the Lord. They were like curious. They wanted to know a little more what means really this or that. What means He is the Supreme Lord? What that means? So they went to Vaikuntha to see the Supreme Lord. They were not looking to become devotees. They became devotees by the mercy of Tulasi Devi. Because when they were looking at the form of Vishnu and they were Narayana, they were overwhelmed because never seen such a beautiful person. And as they were looking to all the different limbs of the Lord, they came to smell the fragrance of the lotus flower that was offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. So it was the contact of Tulasi Devi that made them become attracted to the Lord. See, there's always a connection with the devotee. Gajendra prays in great distress, and the Lord, he remembered the prayers that he had composed in his previous life when he was a great personality, and the Lord came by the mercy of Garuda. Garuda carried the Lord to see him. There is Shukadeva Goswami, and the sages of Naimisharanya, they were looking at the absolute truth, right? But they wanted just to find a solution to the problems of Kali Yuga. They were doing sacrifice, karma kanda sacrifices to placate the bad effects of Kali Yuga. But then, and they were curious, they were interested in hearing about the Puranas, all those stories during fire sacrifices, because so much fire, so much smoke blowing in their eyes, suffocating them. So there were periods that they didn't offer any yagyas. So they would sit down and somebody would narrate the Puranas until they finally got in contact with Sutta Goswami, who was a pure devotee, and narrate them the Srimad Bhagavatam. So their search for the Absolute became perfect. Yeah, there has to be always a contact, either direct with the Lord in continuously, or the contact with this devotee. Otherwise, yes, they satisfy their desires and that's done and they go away, right? That's the problem.
Thank you.
But it's always beneficial. Anyone who comes in contact with the Lord, even if their intent is just to satisfy their material needs, they are always benefited. Means they are going to accumulate what you call agyarta sukriti. That piety that's connected with devotional life, that becomes accumulated in the heart, and as it accumulates like a bank balance. When you have a good balance, then you get the benefit of that. So at one time, they're going to become naturally attracted to devotional service because of accumulation of that piety. So even if they come here for material intent, that my business is not running well, put some coin and go away, but they come, and that contact is there, and something is building up in their hearts. Until one day, all the business fails, and they surrender to Krishna. Hope does not happen to you.
What if whatever we are asking, whatever we are desiring, is not fulfilled?
Well, sometimes, if the Lord wants to give you a special mercy, He will not fulfill your material desires. That it does on purpose, so you hanker for something better. But it does not do that just to anyone and everyone. Only if you are really have some sincerity in heart and you really want to become His devotee, then He may not satisfy your material desire in order to force you to surrender to Him, to become helpless. Become in helpless condition that you don't see any other issue than surrender to Him. But it does this in a very nice way and out of love. Yeah.
People may go to any other...
No. If other people, you will satisfy their desires. You will say, of course, you have to deserve also. Even if they go to other demigods, they also have to deserve. Again, he's the same person with a supplier. Either through a representative or directly, is the one who supplies our needs, right? So either you come to him or go to the demigods. If you don't deserve, your wishes are not going to be fulfilled. You have to deserve according to your karma. So, but yes, sometimes the Lord may not, to a person who is a sincere seeker, may not satisfy their desires purposely, so they can, in great need, they can really, accept the mercy of the Lord and surrender. He does on purpose that. It takes away. And he can also take away your wealth. That's why people in India don't like to worship Krishna. Yes, because Krishna may take away their wealth and then become destitute. And then they surrender to Krishna, but they even think, oh, if I'm going to lose my wealth, oh, this is not good. So they go to the devatas, because devatas, they're not going to take away your wealth, right? Only Krishna can do that. Or does that.
But it is a better bargaining. If we are getting surrender and he is taking our wealth, that is the best bargain, I think.
Sorry, can you say that?
That's the best bargain if we are getting surrendered to Krishna instead of he is filling our business.
Yeah, because when you have Krishna, you have everything. You don't lose anything. You have everything. So you are his devotee. You get all the benefit. No problem with that.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Maharaj, one question.
Yeah. Last one, no? I don't know, because he's already said, they're going to complain, huh?
Balaji, special approval.
Okay.
So Maharaj, so as a neophyte devotee, we start our bhakti, we come to temple regularly, we engage in chanting 16 rounds, we start following the 4 principles, and we do it, for a year, another year. But how do we know whether we are really elevating in bhakti or we are just, stuck at the same position? We are becoming. How do we know that we are doing better or we've kind of downgraded? How do we measure that? How does Krishna reveal that to us so we can, consciously put more effort to become?
Well, you can notice. The first thing is that you start becoming more attached to it. It's already a good symptom. You are doing, and you start liking it, developing a certain liking for it. We may not feel great ecstasies and starting seeing the light and Krishna talking with you, but you already feel some lightness in the heart. You feel that something is purifying your heart. You may not see very much, but one is sure that you're going to notice how impure is your heart. That's what Krishna reveals first. What is really wrong in our heart? Things that we didn't notice before. We start to notice, oh, I'm so envious. Oh, I'm so proud. Oh, I'm so greedy. Oh, you start noticing things. And then, yes, and Krishna gives you the facility to deal with that. So Krishna may reveal, we may feel more what we have not yet achieved more than what we have achieved. Krishna, but other devotees, other people are around you, they will notice. They don't fail to notice how you are improving. We may not notice very much ourselves because we always start saying, oh, how far I am from Krishna, right? We see the distance. We don't see how much we already have walked. So this is natural because it's kind of an enticement to do better, We're still very far. We don't immediately judge our advancement. Oh, I'm so advanced, I can chant 16 rounds every day. I've been chanting for so many months, No, we don't feel proud. But sometimes, yes, the devotees can, even very, very young devotees, can feel some overwhelming experiences. Because that's one good thing in the beginning. We are very attentively in doing what we have to do in devotional service, right? We chant very attentively because we are very crude, very new in it. You chant very attentively, very focused. And then you become very professional, very used to it, and you can do mechanically, right? And that's when you start having running one problems. You say, I'm not moving so much. But in the beginning, everybody moves quite well, and everybody has an overwhelming experience that they are doing okay. They feel good. We are doing the right thing. I immediately feel I'm doing the right thing. This is what I should do, and we don't want to go one day without doing. Otherwise, you feel you miss something very important, right? So these are already symptoms, very, very wonderful symptoms that you didn't have before. Now you miss doing those activities in case you don't do them, right? Before, no, you never ever thought about that. But yes, in the beginning, it's easier to make have a quick experience. But then, unfortunately, we tend to become a little ritualistic or mechanical, and then we can. So we have a period you go like this, and then you maintain, and then you start going going backwards, and then we notice that, and you're gonna again push a little bit ourselves, you advance, and so you have many curves in our progress until one day you're gonna really go straight forward, But in the beginning, it has some obstacles, our own obstacles, not Krishna's obstacle. Our obstacles will become more noticeable. So you have to deal with that. But it's good. It's part of the process. And the devotees are there to help you to go through all this, because everybody went through that. Everybody has a similar journey, yeah. More or less intense, but the journey is very similar. So we all go through those.
And that's why we say sadhu sangha is very
Yes,
important.
that's why association devotees is so important. If you don't talk, but you really hear a lot and ask questions, reveal your heart in confidence, express your feelings, what you are experiencing, and devotees who are a little more mature can help you. It's very important, yes. Sadhu Sangha is very important. One of the most important items in our practice, yeah.
Sorry, but we just wanted to add that unfortunately there are some people who come to the temple and they only want to have darshan or do some service. They don't want to associate with the devotees because they feel that devotees are not perfect in their behavior.
Yeah.
They find so many faults in the devotees, so they think that coming to temple is only about me and Krishna. I just come, do my service, have darshan, and then I leave. I don't want to associate with anyone because there's this immature expectation that devotees should be perfect in their behavior. So
even if they are not perfect, but at least they are trying, they are engaged, and that just by being with them, we feel inspired. I mean, I'm senior to many devotees here in this part of the world, but wherever I go, I feel so inspiring devotees, very new devotees, so inspiring, because they have something, maybe some enthusiasm that I lack, and that I don't have, some commitment that I don't have, and I feel very inspired, yeah. Everywhere I go visit in China, people are very, very simple. They just begin practicing, but they can have overwhelming experiences that I never had. Amazing, So it's always good. Even the devotees are not very advanced. Never mind, they are trying to serve the Lord, and that in itself is extremely inspiring. So it's always inspiring to be with the devotees, either better senior, very advanced devotees, yes, because they can help us with their experience, and they can help us to solve our difficulties, to give us good advices. But also with very junior, very immature devotees, we can also learn a lot. I mean, here in this temple, we have so many wonderful devotees, so engaged, It's just so sweet. Okay, I don't want to stop you from doing your orbit of japa.
Firstly, let us all thank His Grace, Kṛṣṇa Baladeva Prabhu, with a loud Hari Bol, 3 times.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
We
jai.
had such a wonderful class today. So please, I know with little time, but at least give me a takeaway that we all have. Very important for all of us.
What is that?
A takeaway from the class. Very important for all of us. Okay, I won't take much of your time. Like Prabhu said himself, Patram Pushpam Phulam Toyam, we can all be of service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare